when everyone's wondering, is Future even going to respond? Is this it? Is this the end?
Right.
He drops Mixtape Pluto.
Oh, yeah.
And not on any day.
Right.
On the anniversary of What a Time to Be Alive, their collab album.
Wow.
From 2015. I mean, come on, chills, literal chills.
That's crazy. Yeah, the symbolism there. So he's not even just dropping a diss track, he's dropping a whole project.
Right.
That now directly overshadows
Right.
their previous work together.
It's like, remember that thing we did?
Right, exactly.
That was mine the whole time.
It's a mine now, yeah.
I'm owning that narrative now.
Yes. Yes.
Which I thought was so interesting, because the analysis was basically saying, this isn't just about Future dissing Drake.
Right.
It's about Future reclaiming power.
Yes.
Within their shared history.
100%.
It's like rewriting the past.
Yeah.
But he's doing it in a way that he controls the narrative.
He's controlling the narrative completely.
Completely.
And I think that's something that's so key in hip hop.
Yeah.
You know, like who originated this sound? Who influenced who?
Right.
And I think, you know, dropping it on that specific date, it's like he's very intentionally trying to place himself in that lineage.
Yeah.
Like, I was here first.
Oh, well, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
This was me.
Mm.
And, you know, speaking of making a statement, you got to talk about Press the Button, because that felt, I don't know, for me at least, that felt like a very direct shot at Drake.
Oh, 100%.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and I think that's where, for me, this whole, like, chess analogy really started to click.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just a diss at Drake. It was very much a calculated, like, I'm going to use your own words against you.
Right, and I think this is where, like, context for listeners is important, because some people might not realize Drake has been throwing around this whole pushing the button thing for a while.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of his other you know, beefs that he's had with other artists.
Right, like he's always...
Most notably, Kendrick.
He's threatening to do it, but he never actually does it.
Exactly. It's always like, oh, I'm gonna, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I'm gonna unleash. But then it never happens. So it's almost become like a running joke in hip hop.
Totally.
Where it's like, all right, Drake, when are you really going to press the button? And then Future comes through and just like
flips it on him.
Flips the script and uses it against him.
Totally. And the analysis actually uses this word, which I thought was it was a bold word to use. They called it erasure.
Oh, wow.
Like that Future is literally erasing Drake.
Okay.
And I was like, when you think about it, when you really break down all these moves.
Yeah, he kind of is.
He is erasing their past. He's erasing Drake's narrative. He's inserting his own.
Yeah, and I think erasure in that context, it's not even just like dissing somebody. It's like you're challenging their version of events, their place in the hierarchy, you know?
Totally.
You're challenging their whole persona.
Yes.
And he's not doing it, you know, in a way that's like, you know, super aggressive. He's doing it in a way that's like, I'm just gonna outsmart you.
Smart, yeah.
I'm gonna be smarter than you.
Calculated. And it all goes back to, I think, this bigger point that the analysis makes about legacy.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't just a battle for who has the better song right now. This is a battle of who is going to be remembered as the more influential artist.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, like, you know, legacy in hip hop is such a huge thing. It's like, who shaped the sound? Who's influenced the next generation coming up? And, you know, what are you leaving behind, essentially? Yeah. That's what legacy is. And I think that's what's at stake here for both of them, is that they're both trying to cement themselves in this, like, you know, in the history books.
The history books, yeah.
You know, of hip hop. And
well, and then the analysis uses this line, I don't know, I thought it was brutal, but it said, Future doesn't need Drake, but Drake will never stop needing Future.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know, I mean, it's a bold statement.
It's a bold statement, and I think, you know, whether or not it's true is debatable.
Yeah.
But I think it speaks volumes to how Future sees himself, you know, in this dynamic. He's placing himself as, like, the originator, as the innovator, as, like, I was doing it before you were doing it.
It's not just how he sees himself, though, right?
Yeah.
It's like Future's sound, his whole approach has influenced a generation of artists.
Yeah.
Drake included.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, you know, I don't think we can understate how much Future really did pioneer and push forward the trap sound, the sound of modern hip hop as we know it.
Right.
Like, his fingerprints are all over that.
Totally. And I think that's what makes this, and I'm even using the word beef in quotes here, because it's bigger than that.
It's deeper than that.
It's deeper than that.
Yeah.
It's like, it's less about ego. It's less about, who can write the best diss track.
Right.
It's really about artistic legacy.
Yes.
Like, who gets to, like, own these certain sounds and styles.
100%.
So are we saying Drake's a copycat? Because I feel like...
Well, I don't think it's that simple. And I'm hesitant
Like that simple.
to call anyone that. And obviously Drake is extremely talented in his own right, but I think it's about acknowledging like influence. And I think especially early in Drake's career, like when he started really incorporating elements of trap and having that kind of like darker, moodier sound. I mean, you can hear it. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah.
And I think it all does go back to that, like, Future's playing chess.
Yes.
While Drake is over here with checkers, because it really seems like Future is thinking 5 steps ahead.
What game?
Thinking about his legacy, and Drake is just kind of reacting in the moment.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's like the brilliance or the strategy, if you will, behind something like, the mixtape Pluto drop on that anniversary using Press the Button as the single. It's like these are very deliberate moves to not just, take a dig at Drake, but to actually say like,
This was me.
This was me first, and I influenced this, and I was at the forefront of this.
And it makes me wonder if this whole thing is like a microcosm of something even bigger happening in hip-hop right now. Because are we moving into an era where authenticity and originality is valued even more?
That's an interesting question, and it's something I've thought about a lot. And I do wonder if there has been this kind of like
shift
where it's less about, maybe the most commercially viable sound or the most, I don't know, like
generic,
yeah, and more about, are you doing you?
Yeah.
Are you staying true to yourself?
Because Future is...
And people can spot a phony, you know what I mean?
The Future's nothing if not himself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that, I think, resonates, and I think that's maybe what he's tapping into with these power moves. Like,
totally.
It's like, I'm not going to play the game your way.
All right.
I'm going to play it my way.
You've given us so much to unpack today.
This is so fun.
This is not your average who won the beef analysis.
No, it's so much deeper than that.
It's way deeper than that.
It's about the strategy.
For sure. And for anyone listening, if this conversation piqued your interest, dive into these albums.
Yes.
Dive into these lyrics.
Listen closely.
Because, as you can tell, there's a whole world of meaning beneath the surface.
Absolutely.
So until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning,
keep digging,
and keep sending us those deep dives.
Yes, please. We love them.
We'll see you next time.